we're going to start our practice today standing up, actually, because it's a 30-minute practice, so it's a little bit shorter. And then we're also going to do a whole Vinyasa sequence that really doesn't involve us having to necessarily put a lot of weight on the hands or the wrists, the arms, the shoulders. Just on those days when you have a reason to not do that, we'll be able to practice. You can still flow. You don't have to just do yin yoga or just, I mean, it's a great practice, but it just gives you some more options on those days when you don't want to do planks or down dogs or those kinds of poses, if it's just feeling like too much pressure for your shoulders on that day or whatever. So we're going to start with a mountain pose. Now I'm going to face sideways because I think it's easier to see what I'm up to, but you can face anywhere you want. Just pick an end of your mat. And get your legs so that it feels like the feet just fall right out underneath the hips. We're not bringing the feet in too narrow, not too wide, just hips distance. And feel yourself kind of lengthen through the spine a bit. The shoulders find a relaxed place. So this is our first mountain pose, so it might be, a little interesting to just notice how the overall body feels. How does your low back feel? Your shoulders? Does it feel like you've got an equal amount of weight on both legs? And then take a few deep breaths. We're just going to pause for a moment here with this mountain pose, just breathing. Furry helper this morning who's not particularly helpful from my perspective, but she is cute. So we're going to lift up onto our tiptoes, reach the arms up. You can sweep the arms out to the side if you don't have plants in your way. So I'm going to bring mine up a little more narrow and then come on back down. We're going to do this a couple more times and just reaching up, kind of feel yourself lift through the heels, press down through the balls of the feet, and then come on down, and then we'll do it twice more. And then last time, kind of reaching up. And then as my heels come down, I'm going to find a chair pose. And it's an early morning chair pose. So the first chair pose of the day, maybe a little bit shallow. We're going to exhale and fold forward. Come up halfway. Give yourself a little length there. Pull the collarbones a little wider. And then we're going to take the weight into the right foot as we step the left foot back into a high lunge. Now, I say that, and then maybe you can't catch it exactly. Or maybe you caught that perfectly, and I'm the only one stumbling around. However it worked out. So my front knee is bent, but not past the ankle, right? Not leaning forward past the ankle. And then my back leg is up on the tiptoes, or up on the ball of the foot, and everything hip-wise, shoulders, chest, everything's pointing in the same direction even forward. Okay, so that's my high lunge for now. Now I'm going to straighten out my front leg and press this left heel towards the ground. Then I'm going to bend my right knee again, and then see, can I bend my left knee at all? Straighten out both legs, left heel towards the ground, right knee bends, and then I'm going to see, can I bend my left knee at all? Now some people can bend their left knee quite a lot. Mine is a little less so. So straighter leg, bend the knee, see if we can bring this left knee towards the ground. And then I'm going to lean forward and step myself back into my chair. And then come back to that tall mountain pose. With the feet hips distance apart. And then just notice, because we did something on one leg differently than the other. Is there a difference in the mountain? And then lifting up onto the tiptoes, or the balls of the feet at least. Might be not quite so tiptoes, but balls of the feet, heels up, pressing up through the heels. Good, one more of those. And then chair pose. And then I'm going to fold forward. Come up halfway. Pull the collarbones a little wide. And then kind of shifting the weight over into this left leg, I'm going to step back with my right foot and hopefully stretch, a lunge. So again, finding myself balanced, or at least as balanced as I can get before I do anything else. Then straightening out the front leg, just seeing, will my right heel go toward the floor? Bending that left knee, bending my right knee a bit. Okay, back to neutral. Straightening out, heel towards the floor, bending the front knee, bending the back knee a bit. And then back to neutral. Straight front leg, we're doing one more time. Heel towards the ground, bending the front knee, bending the back knee, holding steady for a moment, and then stepping myself forward into my chair. And coming back to mountain. And again, pausing for a moment, just feeling how that might have left me. Do the legs feel a little bit more energized? Can you feel the result of having done some of those chair poses and others? So again, we're going to come up onto the tiptoes, press up through the heels, coming down. Up onto the tiptoes, press up into the heels, coming down, so the heels are really lifting. Last one of those. Once you're settled, we're going to take hold of the right wrist with the left hand, do a little stretch over to the left, as far as it feels good to go. Coming back to center, picking the left leg up. I'm just going to see if I can hover it. Maybe. It's a wobbly day today. Stepping back, I'm going to come to Warrior One. Now, Warrior One just takes the high lunge and brings the heel down. So depending on the flexibility of your ankle joint, the hips might be more directed forward or more directed at the diagonal. For me, it's definitely a diagonal. So I can turn the torso to match the diagonal, or I can turn it a little bit more on the diagonal. So we're going to take the arms up and bring the hands back, and then push forward, and then bring the arms up. Elbows back, and push them forward. One more time. Okay, so then I'm going to straighten out the front leg, and you can turn to the diagonal again, or you can keep trying to go straight over and fold over the straightened front leg. Now, you might want to stay a little taller with the torso. And then just breathe. One more. And then we're going to take this guy into a twisting half moon. So I'm going to take my left hand a little forward of my right foot so that I can shift the weight onto my right leg, lift the left leg in the air, and then add a twist here, kind of pressing down through my right foot, reaching out through the left, and then turning the belly. This is one of my favorite balancing poses. It's so good. Last breath. And then we're going to bring this left leg in, put it down beside the right leg. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. And then we'll come all the way up to mountain pose. A nice big stretch maybe. And then find your mountain. All right, so can you feel a difference between the right side and the left side? Giving yourself a little lift onto the toes, big stretch, and then down, and then toes, and then down, and then toes, and then down, and we're going to take the arms back up, leave the heels down, grab hold of this right wrist, take yourself over to the left as far as it feels okay to turn side bend. Coming back to the center, picking up the right leg. Holding that if we can. And then we're going to step it back into the Warrior One shape. So rib cage might be aligned a little differently, but keep the hip aligned with the foot. So the hip, the knee, and the toes all kind of point the same direction. Stretch your mat apart. Bring the elbows back, push forward. Bring the arms up. Elbows back, push forward. Bring the arms up. Elbows back, push forward. And again, we're going to straighten out the front leg and fold. And again, choose like how much into this fold should you go? How, like as soon as I feel that sensation of stretch on the back of the leg, I just pause and breathe. And then sometimes it gives me, you know, a little bit looser and I can go a little deeper, sometimes not. Forward and pick my right foot up, okay? So I've got my right hand just under the shoulder. I'm gonna add the twist, reaching through both legs. Nice deep breaths. One more. Oh, and then I'm gonna bring this right foot in, put it down beside the left one, come up halfway. Fold over. If you like a deep fold, go deep. If not, keep that halfway fold. And then we'll come all the way up. Nice big stretch. Oh. And then find your mountain pose again. Oh. Just noticing how your posture feels now. Like, does the mountain pose feel a little different now that we've done a few of them? Oh, does the body feel different? And in the mountain pose, I guess is what I'm really asking. All right, so we're gonna take the left foot and bring it behind the right foot. It doesn't have to be really far, but just enough that you might wind up kind of turning the right knee just a little so you can sink into both feet. We're gonna grab hold of this left wrist. Give ourselves a little stretch through the right, and then I just bring the rib cage forward a little, and my low back over on this side will tell me when to stop. Ooh. Take a nice big breath. We're going to come back to the center, pick up that left leg. Ooh. Hold it as steady as you can. And then we're going to step it back into Warrior Two. Now, Warrior Two, the feet are going to find some sort of a diagonal, but I'm going to let my whole hips, torso, everything turn at whatever diagonal shape it makes. So I want this knee to stay nice and steady. So if I turn the hip too far, it'll collapse inward. So we're just keeping the inner thigh strong, keeping that leg guided, and this leg nice and sturdy. And if you're at a diagonal, you're at a diagonal. So we're going to come back to a reverse warrior. Take a big breath. Exhale to Warrior Two. Come to side angle, give it a big stretch. Big breath, back to Warrior Two. Reverse warrior. Side angle, inhale. Exhale back. One more time, inhale, reverse. Inhale, side. And then we're gonna straighten out the front leg. And we'll let ourselves take a little triangle pose. However you want to get there is good with me. Just find your way in. And take nice deep breaths. One more. Ooh. Okay, so we're gonna take our right hand out in front of the right foot. So we'll do the opposite version of the half moon, so just the open version, and then try to catch a balance. I want the weight on my hand to be pretty light. It's here for balance, but most of the weight centered right here on the hip, on the leg. Oh, stretch into it if you can. Oh, and then I'm gonna bend this knee, bring it in, and put that foot down. Come up halfway. Fold. Oh. Come back all the way to standing. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Oh. And then find your mountain pose again. Just noticing any differences that might be there. And then we're going to take the right foot behind the left foot, just kind of over to that left side a little bit. Grab hold of the right wrist, give yourself a little stretch, and maybe swing the rib cage forward a notch. Big breath. And then I'm going to slowly come back, lift that right leg, hold it as steady as I can. One more breath, and then step back into warrior two. Okay, so finding that place where it feels like the legs, the hips, everything feels good. I can hold this leg nice and steady, and then coming back to reverse with an inhale, and warrior two with your exhale. Side angle with your inhale, and back to warrior two. So just following that pattern. Okay, so we're going to reverse back into the triangle pose. Again, however you want to get there is good. You can use a block. You could not use a block. You can grab your leg. You can have the arm extended, or the arm on your hip, or the arm behind your back. Whatever you think is going to give you the better option. Now take one more breath. So we're going to transition this triangle into our half moon. So I'm going to stick this guy out. And again, I want the weight to be light on my hand, but while I'm getting in, if you need, you can, outside of other furnishings, you can use your fist. Right, and then lift. If you don't have a block, you could just put your hand on the floor or on a table. I think I could use the couch here. Stretch out nice and big. Ooh. And if you haven't already fallen, bring your leg in. We'll come up halfway. And then I'm just going to step this leg back so that I'm in a wide angle. But we're going to take the legs out kind of wide. Toes maybe pointing a little more forward. You can turn them out to the sides a little bit, but more forward than the triangle. And then pause for a moment, lift up. Kind of lengthen through your back, feel yourself grow stronger in the legs, and then just see how far around your pelvis wants to come. And then you can rest on a block on your elbows, or rest your elbows on the floor if that's not too far, or just dangle there if it's all too far. Let your head and neck relax. And if this is too much hanging upside down, build the blocks up so that it's more level with your hips, or just come up to level and brace with your legs, okay? So choosing appropriately for you. This is kind of our downward dog without hands. So reaching the hands forward now. We can take a downward dog shape without any weight really in the arms, because the legs are holding all the room. Hold. Take in one more big breath. All right, so we're going to come to a squat. So I'm going to bring my legs in until I can more comfortably get my hips down. Now, some people can squat deep enough that they can just sit right on the ground, which is what we're going to do next. I cannot. So I'm going to use a very not graceful technique to get myself to the floor. But first I'm going to squat for 2 more breaths. All right, and then I'm going to get myself down to the ground with one knee and then the other. Oh, there we go. So, however we get here, once you arrive on the ground, you're gonna make a couple of choices. Now, I'm gonna choose to do my right leg straight and my left leg bent, and that's gonna be, this is the setup for the next half of the pose anyway, so I'm just gonna go with this setup for my twist. You can bring this knee up, you can cross the leg over, so you can set your twist up over your leg. So I'm just getting my sit bones even on the ground, sitting up really tall, and then rotating towards this bent left knee for me. And then once I'm here, I can hold on if I want to, I don't have to. And then this right leg will tend to kind of want to fall open, so I'm just gonna turn the toes up, spread them out, bend the knee a little, so I've got a little more action in my right leg. And I'm just gonna breathe. Two more breaths. Okay, so I've just been doing a twist for now. I'm going to come out about halfway. So I'm still twisting, but not quite as much. And then I'm going to just work with my shoulder blade. So I'm going to take this right shoulder blade and reach forward, draw the left shoulder blade in, and then I'm going to release that. Right shoulder blade forward, left shoulder blade in, and release that. Right shoulder blade forward, left shoulder blade in, and release. And it's not a very big movement, so you might not even be able to see it, but really it's just trying to get the shoulder blades moving in that center part of the upper back, right? Just get a little movement going there with a little bit of pressure provided by the opportunity to hold on to, knees or shins or toes or whatever you're holding on to. Okay, coming out of the twist, we're gonna fold forward, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. So first I'm just gonna settle my right sit bone a little further back, so it sort of swings me towards this leg. And I can still feel that my back is still in the twist a little bit. There's like a little signature left behind. So I'm gonna bring the pelvis forward, but then I'm gonna wait out a little bit of that release in the back. It'll get softer, it's getting softer now. And when it feels like it's softened enough that I'm not really noticing the difference from left side to right side, then I might reach forward. You can grab your foot, you can grab your toe. I'm gonna keep it a little more lengthened today, so I'm just gonna lean in and hold it steady. Because I'm mostly just interested in kind of feeling things, and if I bring my pelvis forward, I'm feeling things. I don't need to feel that many things. Coming all the way up and straightening out the leg. One thing that we should always ask ourselves, I think, with any asana practice, with any yoga posture practice, is like, because we see a lot of pictures of people in really extreme positions, and so we've equated yoga with kind of a contortionism, and yoga really isn't that. It is really paying attention just to the breath and the body and the sensations present as far as asana practice goes. It's, the notion is that we want to be steady, but we also want the pose to give us a sense of well-being. And some of the extreme things give our mind a sense of accomplishment, but not necessarily our hip joints a sense of well-being. So it's something to consider, like as you're practicing, and especially as you're practicing in an aging body, is should I be a little more conservative with my poses? So sit up nice and tall. We're gonna rotate around the other way, right? I switched legs, by the way, while I was chatting you up about philosophical, that's the word I'm looking for, things. So right now I'm just holding the twist. I'm just gonna enjoy the twist as far around as my body wants to twist today. Okay, so I'm going to come out of the twist about halfway. Again, I'm still a little twisting, but I want a little room to move. So I'm going to draw my left shoulder blade out and my right shoulder blade in. block to kind of get my right shoulder blade a little higher up, and then draw them out and draw them in. Oh, feels nice. Draw them out. I'm kind of sliding the left one back where it came from, right? And then pulling the right one out to the right, and then opposite. And then I'm going to do that one more time, sitting up just a little taller. Oh. Okay, so then I come out of the twist. I'm going to pull my hip back a notch. I'm turning towards this leg, but I'm not going all in there yet because I want to let my back settle out of the twisty shape. But I can do this kind of staff pose with my legs. Lengthen and get a little extra kind of abdominal contraction. So spinal extensors lengthening. So I'm kind of holding my core nice and long and tall. And by that I just mean my torso. And then as I get permission, I can start to fold the pelvis a little bit more forward. And again, you can grab hold, but you don't have to. Like, it's just if it gives you a way of kind of working with the pose, like maybe it makes it easier for you to lift your kneecap so your hamstrings have a little more room because your quads are active, right? That's cool. If you've got a strange goal to marry your forehead onto your shin bone, ask yourself why that's a goal. Maybe there should be a better goal, like feeding the homeless or something. Probably better efforts for us to direct our minds towards than smushing our forehead into our shin. So when you're ready, come back up and straighten things out. And not to shame that, because you should, like, if it's fun to do that, do it. It's just, be mindful, balance your effort. All right, so then we're going to take a little seated position. And the last thing we're going to do here today is a little balancing Nadi Shodhana breath practice. So this is a great kind of entry into meditation. So we've done some movement, we're going to do this breath practice, and then if you wanted to, you could go right into a meditation practice. We're not going to do that on camera with each other, but that would be a nice little place to land. Just spend a few moments wherever the breath practice left you. So to do the breath practice first, just make sure you can breathe through both nostrils. Both my nostrils are open, so I'm doing pretty good. Now, if I have one nostril that's not as open, I can't breathe through it as easily, then I don't close the other one all the way off. You just rest your thumb or you rest your ring finger on the nostril, so there's a sensation there, and then just breathe, okay? So you can take your peace sign fingers of your dominant hand, I'm right-handed, and put it on your forehead, or you can curl them in, and then your thumb and your ring finger are gonna operate the nostrils. So first, inhale. Exhale and just let go a little bit. Get a little softer because we want to approach breath practice very gently and very like with an easy sense. Like we're not going to bear down on this with force. So cover your right nostril and inhale through your left. And then switch sides and exhale. Inhale through your right. And switch sides and exhale. So again, really easy going approach. Inhale. Switch and exhale. Inhale. And switch and exhale. And so that's the pattern. You just inhale on the side you're on. And then switch before you exhale. And again, just put all your awareness on that nostril you're working with. Even if the other one isn't completely blocked off, just put all your awareness on the one. And as you exhale and then inhale. And then switch sides. Go with your breath pattern, do about 3 more rounds.
you're going to end when you exhale through your left nostril the next time. And again, you just hang out and be where the breath work brought you. And notice, so the notion is that this is a kind of balancing or harmonizing breath, that it kind of brings a sense of equilibrium, right? So is that true? Sometimes you should be your own judge. Now, that being said, try things like more than once, because the first time you try something like a breath practice like this, it might just be a little awkward. So try it again and see what happens. Let's take a nice big breath together, yogis. Let go with an ah. Namaste. Welcome to the rest of your day or to your meditation practice as you see fit.